Hey guys, gonna do another review. Put it on 1080p if you want to see it in high def. It looks much better in high definition. Honestly, 720p works. When I put it on 1080p, it's excruciatingly slow to load, so I can't stand watching it. 1080p does look the best, but 720 works the best. As you can tell, I'm going to talk about the ESEE 5. Somebody requested that I talk about it, and I figured I would oblige. So, of course, this is the ESEE 5. I'm not going to ramble off the specs, but I will tell you that it's a full 1/4 inch thick, and it does weigh a full pound. So it's a huge knife. I think the cutting edge is just a hair bit over 5 inches. I could be wrong. For some reason I want to say 5.75, but I really have no clue. That's not really important. It does come with this excellent Kydex sheath. As you can see, the retention is amazing. It clicks in there very with much authority. Comes out really fast like that. As you can see, the sheath just kind of flies off the knife. It does come with this locking option right here, so when you push this up, which I have mine tightened down so it won't accidentally lock, but when you lock it, the blade absolutely will not come out. And there, as you can hear, there's no rattle. So even unlocked, there's just a tiny bit of rattle. So this Kydex sheath is really quality. It fits really snugly. It has a vent for water if your knife happens to be wet or something like that. So I'm going to give you a good look at the Kydex sheath, then I'm going to put that aside because it takes up most of the frame. It does come with this clip right here, so you can hook it onto your belt. One thing I've noticed is when you have this thing in the sheath, if you're hanging that off your belt, you notice that amount of weight. So it's not the most comfortable, but it's definitely doable. As you can see, I have beat on this knife, so I feel very comfortable giving a review on it. I've batoned with this knife. I've thrown this knife, although ESEE hates it when you throw their knives. I've used the bow drill divot. I was successful in getting fire with that. It took me 2 hours to make the bow drill, and it took me another 1.5 hours to actually get fire. You can get smoke really fast, but getting fire is a whole nother story. You do have these excellent canvas micarta grips. The blade coating is very, very durable. I batoned with this knife a large amount, and it's just now starting to wear away from the edge and just now starting to break through the coating on the shoulder of that saber grind. Just right there. So the coating is very durable. It will smooth out, as you can see, but it takes a long time before you actually wear through the coating. This knife is made of 1095 high carbon steel, so it will rust if you don't take care of it. It comes with really rough grinds around this glass breaker, so I modified this myself, and my camera will focus. There you go. What I did was sandpapered, just used a mouse pad and sandpaper. I went from like 400 grit to around 2000. And I gave this glass breaker portion a nice polish so it doesn't rust. And I've noticed a lot of people's knives rust at this part right here, so I just went ahead and took care of that. As you can see, it has a nice saber grind right here, which preserves your thickness all the way out to the tip. You only have about a inch long portion of the blade that isn't the full 1/4 inch width. The spine holds up really well. Through batoning. All that really happens is the coating smooths just a little bit, which is no big deal. The jimping up here is fairly large. It's not sharp at all. I think the thickness of the coating kind of makes it a little bit more rounded than the actual grind is, but it is still grippy, and your thumb just kind of lands right on the jimping, which it's not going to keep your thumb there, but it does add a little bit to the grip. So it has a function. I would say it would be less of a knife without the jimping, so that is pretty important. The 1095 steel holds its edge really well. You have to really smack this thing around to get it to lose its edge. I've used this thing a lot. As you can see, there's still crud on the edge. Still some tree sap, stuff like that. And I haven't sharpened it. All I did was touch it up on a stripe. I want to get a piece of paper and show you. Okay, this obviously isn't a big piece of paper, but for our demonstration, it'll work. This is just a stropped edge. It's still a really sharp knife. It's really tough, so it doesn't take any microchips or anything like that. So the 1095 does hold its edge for a good long while, although it will rust. The Rowan Manufacturing, Sean Rowan at Rowan Manufacturing does the heat treat, and I think they may sprinkle some fairy dust on it or something like that, because it does hold its edge for a really long time for what it is. The grips leave something to be desired for me. They're really blocky, really thick and very blocky. This angle right here, I want to get some good perspective. This right here gives me hot spots, and fairly quickly. It doesn't take long before my hands are really uncomfortable. So I either have to wear gloves with this knife or hook a lanyard to it and make it really tight around my wrist so that I'm not having to grip the knife so hard, because it does give me hot spots. I've known a lot of people who have dremeled down little grooves in the corner of the micarta, and I think that may work really well. For some people with bigger hands than mine, they think the grip is perfect. So I think that's just really subjective. Maybe the size of your hands. As you can see, I don't really have small hands, but it's still not comfortable for me. That's purely subjective, so I'm not going to say that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it changes from person to person. There's not really much else I can say about this knife. It holds its edge really well. You can beat on it, and all it does is ask for more. Holds its edge. The grips are excellent. They're actually really grippy, and they withstand a lot of abuse. They're just not the most comfortable grips I felt. It's 1/4 inches thick, weighs a full pound, so if you're planning on chopping or doing some really heavy duty tasks, a lot of prying, or even you're going to use it as a survival knife, this is an excellent choice for those kind of things. And it's just a really good general purpose woodcraft knife, because it's big enough to do the really heavy tasks, and it's controllable enough to do a lot of the smaller tasks. So it's a good all-around kind of knife. And I think that's pretty much it. I didn't really have a script for this. I've been saying that a lot lately. I should probably stop saying that. But I don't know what else to say about it that hasn't been touched on before. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.